Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I was supposed to post a video yesterday, but yesterday was just one of those days that running up and down, going here, going there. But today I'm all by my lonesome self, and so I am doing this video for you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey, my life, my abuse, what I went through. It's just so that you guys know where I am coming from and where I am now. Okay, so this is a very personal video for me. I don't do something like this, to be honest. I'm very private. I don't share my life with anybody, but you know what? If I need healing and I want to help other people, then I have to open up a little bit and tell my story so that everybody knows where I am coming from and what I have been through and why I am who I am. Because if it weren't for what happened in my life, I wouldn't be here now. And I wouldn't open up and say what happened to me. And then I wouldn't be able to help someone, maybe realizing that, gee whiz, I don't, I need, I can relate. I need to follow the advice because otherwise I'm not going to make it. I made it because I had to make it and I wanted to make it because I had kids and I was doing it for my kids. Now I have a husband that is the love of my life. I love him to pieces. He's very good to me. And the best thing is we know one another very, very well. We went to school together. He was in love with me, but I will get to that in a few minutes' time. But for now, let me tell you my story. I'm this 19-year-old girl that went to the police college. I'm just this blue girl in the police station I'm going to save lives. I'm going to be a policewoman. And then I sat with where they are doing the documentation and everything and writing down affidavits and whatever. So that's fine, 100%. I didn't actually want to go outside, to be honest. But I was sitting there. And then this one day, this blonde guy came into the police station and I was, wow, that's a nice guy. And we started chatting, and we started to get to know one another. And we eventually shift our shifts so that we can work together. And I always thought that he was the love of my life and he's my first love and whatever. But he wasn't the love of my life. I was just smitten with him and he was so charming and he just know which buttons to push. So the first incident happened on his 21st. He choked me because I wanted to go home, and he grabbed me very hard on the arm, on the arms, and pushed me in the hall. And he went and he didn't even spend time with me, but I wasn't supposed to go. I had to stay there with the friends and drink, and I didn't drink that much at that time because I was driving and I had a far distance to go. So when he went to the bar, I slipped out. I went home, and when we got back to work, he was bringing me flowers, and I'm so sorry, I will never do that again. I was just under the influence and whatever, all the excuses they usually have. And I was just smitten, and I was, okay, it's fine. I forgive you. It will not happen again. The next time he almost drowned me because I was swimming, and one of the guys we were just chatting, and he thought we had an affair or whatever. I was cheating on him, and he put my head under the water and he choked me. And I got out of the swimming pool, got my clothes on, and now I have to go home. And tomorrow morning when I wake up, I know that I will have marks in my neck. That time I didn't wear makeup. As of today, I still don't wear makeup. And that day I was just putting some makeup foundation so that nobody sees it. And I just made excuses and said, I'm going to my friend, I'm going to stay there. We are just going to have a nice jol in the city, and then I will see you whenever I see you. And one day, and that is how it went on. It was on and off, on and off. It just got worse and worse. And then it just stopped. Suddenly it just stopped. And I was thinking, okay, maybe he listened. Maybe he's regretting what he's doing. I don't know what I was thinking. I was such an idiot. But today I'm thanking God that I walked that road and I went through what I went through. Otherwise, I wouldn't sit here and tell you my story. The worst part is the fact that he was mentally very abusive. Johan, and the mental abuse actually started just after our wedding. We've got married, and on our wedding night, he abused me. He hit the living shit out of me. I promise you it was. And he didn't hit me in my face. It was, my body was so sore. And my arms it was just blue and bruised. Luckily, we got married in the winter, so I could wear polo necks and that, so that nobody knew he was hitting me. I didn't tell anybody, although I wanted to. It was inside. I was screaming, help me, somebody help me. But the words couldn't get out of my mouth because of fear. Fear blocked everything. Fear. I was really shit scared. I was so scared. I was just scared to open my mouth. And sometimes when he hit me in the face, and usually when he hit me in my face, I was at home, then my mom would ask what happened, and then I just said, no, you know what, we were playing, and we had like a little wrestling match, and I bumped my head against the cupboard or whatever. I always had an excuse. And I just wish that my mom or my dad or my brother or just somebody could just step in and grab me and just shovel me like that and say, get away from that man, he's going to kill you, he's going to kill you. But because of my smittenness, I never, today I realized I never loved him. I was just like smitten with this man. And we were together for so long. We were married for 8 years. So just imagine for yourself, for 8 years going through physical abuse and mental abuse. I know there's a lot of people going through it since they were for so long. But the fact is that this is my journey, and I was I was shouting out and hoped somebody could save me, but nobody saved me. So the only one that could save me was me, myself. I have a silly man driving outside, and the dogs is going to bark because he's driving this. But anyway, I was shouting and screaming and asking inside. I was shouting, help me, because at the stage it got so bad that he was sleeping with a gun next to the bed, that I waited until he slept so fast that he was fast asleep. Then I snuck out of bed, and then I went to my children's room and slept on the floor, because I was so afraid that something might happen. And then very early in the morning, I would snuck back in because I know about what time he would wake up. And then I would be next to the bed when he wakes up. We worked at a bar at a holiday resort, so I was very busy. And his friends and he always came, and they were ordering and they got drunk and everything. And then I knew that when I get home, he would sit and wait for me. And then I don't know, I always left the kids in the car, went into the house, make sure that he is fine and he is calm. And when he didn't have the gun with him, then I went outside and fetched the kids. I was so afraid he would hurt my kids. I was really so afraid. There's a lot of times that I stood next to the bed with a cushion in my hand or with a pan in my head and just thinking, you know what, today's the day I'm going to kill you. I really am going to kill you. Because I just couldn't take it anymore. And it's not the abuse that it's not the abuse, it's the mental, the words that he spoke to me each and every day. I'm not good enough. How can you be on this earth? How can I don't know why I married you, because you are like the biggest piece of scum of shit on this world, whatever. You know what? And each and every word I took so personally, because this man's, I married him and he is saying all these things to me, and I started believing it. And it was just like I was at the stage that I didn't say anything back. I just kept quiet. And then other days I got anxiety attacks. So scared was I, not knowing what he's going to do or what he's going to say. If he just says something, I was panicking. I was having these anxious panic attacks because I couldn't handle it anymore. And my father wanted to commit suicide, and I was laying awake the whole night. And I was just thinking, you know what? I need to phone my dad and just tell him, please go and get help. And while I was saying that, I was just thinking, Tanja, why don't you get help? And I was just sitting there. I had no answers because I could not answer that question. Why don't you go and get help? I wanted so many times. I was just so afraid. And people not going through abuse, they don't, you guys don't understand that fear of holding back, that fear of, I cannot get out of here, he's going to look for me, he's going to kill me. Because that is where I was. He is going to do something so bad to me that I'm just staying here. I will just take in everything he's telling me, everything, whatever. And in that time, we didn't even stay with one another. He stayed with his friends, and he was like jolling and having affairs with other girls. So, girls that's still in school. And I was so disgusted with this man, and I was just thinking, you know what? I married you. Why? Why? What happened? And then eventually we got divorced. He got custody over my son. I got custody over my daughter. And he was so clever. I lost everything. He he took everything, the kids' baby photos, the kids' everything. He really did take everything, and he burned it. It's just like, okay, why didn't you give it to me? He was just spiteful because his friends was influencing him. So I really don't know what they did. I don't know what they said or whatever. I really didn't care, because at that stage I was just, like there's an eagle flying in the air, and this mother hen is protecting her little kids. That was me. I was trying to protect my kids, to that nothing happened to them. Even though I lost everything, even though I stayed in a garage and I was just working at a video shop making like $1,000, 1,000 rand a month or whatever. I didn't make that much money, but my kids had food to eat, they had clothes and everything. So he came the one day and he kidnapped my kids. And I phoned him and asked, where's the kids? And he said, I took the kids because you cannot look after your kids. I said, what do you mean? You stay in a garage, what? And he, with that manipulation that he had over me, he made me the bad one. And I believed him. And I was just sitting and I was just crying and crying and crying and said, how could this happen to me? What have I done to deserve this? What have I done? Why is this happening to me? Why am I losing my kids? And I really did try everything, but you guys, if you don't have money, you cannot do anything. I didn't know lawyers. Every lawyer I found is asking me a hell of a lot of money, and I don't have that money, and nobody wants to help me. And I just went and I prayed and said, God, please help me. I need my kids. My kids is not at a safe place. And I had to go to work. And then this one morning, very early, I got this message that he committed suicide. And it was like, if you are so stressed or you are so anxious and you are just waiting for news or whatever, like good news, and you get the news and it's like that sigh of relief. I felt this fear that was the whole time, the fear that was in me. I felt that fear just disappear. It was gone. I asked my father-in-law, what's the address? I phoned my dad and said, please come and fetch me. My ex-husband has committed suicide. I must go and fetch the kids now. And at that time, I must say that my parents and my brother tried everything to help me to get the kids back. But unfortunately, we were not in that financial situation where we can afford any lawyer or even an advocate, or we couldn't even afford nothing. And so my dad came and fetched me. we went to Pretoria, we fetched the kids, and my son was 10 years old, and my son was 12 years old, and my daughter was 10 years old. And with that, my next journey started. Getting my kids into school again, making sure they see the school psychiatrist, because they were there when he committed suicide. They claim they haven't seen him, but I don't know. I just go with they haven't seen him, but I had to try and save my kids. And I did everything in my power to try and save them. They saw the school psychiatrist, um, and everything started to get a little bit better. But still, I was in that mindset of, you know what, I am just, I'm, I'm just on earth to be abused. I have been thinking it for so many years. God put me on this earth for people to abuse me. It's not necessary to be men. Um, it can be everything. I don't care. I'm put on to this earth to be abused. So for years I've been going on, and then every day my ex-mother-in-law and my ex-father-in-law phoned and said they want to see the kids. And I said, you cannot see the kids. There's no way you guys are going to see the kids, because they need to heal first. Because now if I send them to my parents-in-law, they will brainwash the kids. And that's what they did. They brainwashed the kids and said, oh, your mommy is bad and she's not looking after you and you must come and stay with us and everything. And then I just stopped it. And I said, you know what? I'm the mother. I'm not going to let you intimidate or whatever me. I am going to look after my kids. And I said, you are not going to see the kids until I say it is ready. And the next moment, the welfare is knocking on my door, saying I'm not looking after the kids is underfed and whatever. So I went and I made an appointment, and I went with the kids to that welfare man, and I said, you know what, I'm a single mom now. I'm working like 24 freaking 7 days a week, trying to make sure that my kids can go to school and this and that and this and that. This family doesn't know what's happening. And I explained to him the whole story. And he said, ma'am, just do me one favor. And it was a very, very kind, gentle, it was a black man, but he was so kind and so gentle. And he just said, ma'am, please just do me one favor. Please invite the whole family. Let them into your house and let them see that everything is fine and in order. And I said, for you, I will do that. And from there on, then it's done and dusted. And I will let you know how it goes. He said, okay, that's fine. So I went back home. I cleaned the house. I invited the whole freaking family and said, okay, it's fine. You can come. Just come and see what's happening. And they bought duvet sets and clothes and everything. And I was disgusted. I was so mad because, you know what? My kids have everything they need. Who gives you the right to bring these stuff into my house? I was at that stage, you are bribing my kids so that you can see the kids often. And while we are sitting there in the family, you know, like how are you doing, what, and what. And I just said, you know what? I invited you here so that you can see that the kids is well looked after. I gave them food. And when they left, I told them, if you want to see the kids, you get in your car, you come to my house, you spend the weekend, whatever, but my kids will not go there. I sent my kids once. My son came back. He was like, totally, he was a monster. He was such a monster. And I just decided, no, it's not going to happen like that. And with everything, I still am that person that's not good enough. I still have it in my mind. I met my husband. He let me start believing in love again. And I love him dearly. And I know I am so nasty to him so many times. But I am just who I am. And I'm very sensitive about certain stuff. And then I bought this blueprint. And now you have to work on your mindset, and you have to work on your inner self. And then your mentor comes and say, listen, do this and do this, watch this and watch that. And then suddenly your whole life is turned upside down because you are dealing with these emotions. Emotions you buried so deep. You said you are now like 100 feet under the ground, not even 6 feet under the ground. But I'm getting there. Every day is hard work. But I'm better than I was. And I am good enough. I raised my kids freaking awesome. Now it's my turn. And I am good enough. And I am a success. So my message to you is, if someone hurts you, don't keep it inside. Don't let that fear take over, because you will kill yourself. Inside, you will kill yourself, because I was dead. I felt nothing. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about anything. I get into that mood sometimes, but I'm working every day since I bought this blueprint, and since my mentor told me, just watch this person and watch this person and whatever. So, yes, getting rid of all that shit you buried inside, just to get rid of it so that you can get your mind right and say, you know what, hey, your past doesn't define you. And it doesn't. But if I didn't walk that road until where I am now, I wouldn't be sitting here telling you my story. I wouldn't be sitting here and beg you that if one person lays his hand on you or her hand on you, or you are being sexually abused, please go and see someone that you trust with your whole heart and start talking and start getting that help that you need. Because otherwise, you will, I'm 53 years old. The last 7 months has been the best 7 months of my life because I started to know who Tanja really is. What she wants, not what other people wants, because I was always putting other people before me. Yes, your kids is supposed to be priority, but even now I am saying that other people, okay, I will help you first. It's no more I'm helping me first, because I don't want to be in this situation anymore. I don't want to struggle anymore. I want to go forward. And that is why I'm saying, don't let that fear, if you have that fear in you, please go talk to somebody, phone someone. There is so many helplines. You can be anonymous, but don't let that fear be with you, because if that fear takes over, you're fucked. I'm sorry for my swear words, but that's the truth. Because then you are trapped and you won't get out until maybe it's too late. I got out because he almost killed me. He really almost killed me in front of my kids. He hit me so bad. He was so drunk and he hit me so bad that when I went to my parents' house, they weren't there. Thank God. I think God just knew that I must just be on my own. And by the time my parents got home, I think they went away for the weekend, my whole face was blue. I couldn't see through my eyes. That's how bad it was. I had a gashing wound here at the back of my head. I didn't have money to go to a doctor. And the best part is, one of my friends were a lawyer. He was so manipulative towards that guy that guy didn't even have the courage to help me. And he was my best friend. And that's why it took me so long to recover. When my brother saw my face, he wanted to go and kill that man. I said, it's too late. The damage has already been done. Why do you want to go and sit in jail for something he had done? One day he will have to tell God why he did what he did. His mom would have to tell God why they didn't help me. And that is what everybody will need to be. They would need to ask. They must go and tell God why they didn't help. But if they helped me, then I would not sit here. Then my journey would be another journey. And I believe God put me so that I do this for you guys. Don't let that fear take over your life before it's too late. The first hit was the hit that I was supposed to walk away and say no, but I didn't, and that was my biggest mistake. All of our circumstances is not the same, but our fear is exactly the same. Everything we bury inside our bodies, that weed, that poison, and it poisoned me for so long because I always felt like I'm not good enough. I've been put on this earth to be abused, to be misused. Even with my 9 to 5 job, before I bought into this blueprint, before I resigned my job, I was like, I was abused. They used me. I was crying each and every single day. Now I'm healing myself through my mentor, through this blueprint, because there's skills that I'm learning. And I am busy with a big project to help mental health awareness, to help those who are struggling with depression, to help those who are struggling with anxiety, because it is real. It's not just, how does my mom say? It's not just like, it's just like, it's fake. It's not fake, it's real. That is so real. So this is my journey, and I'm happy where I am now. I am blessed because I'm grateful that God brought me to this point. I'm grateful for my mentor that showed me just 2 people to follow and to start healing. And she didn't know, just to let you know, she didn't know what I was going through or whatever. She just, because she's a good mentor, she said, look at this, it's gonna help you. She was just thinking about the mental health, and she didn't know that the healing that's going with the mental health. And I am getting better every single day. I have my days, as you guys know, I have my days, but I'm not into my head anymore. I'm not this cruel person to myself anymore. I'm kind to myself. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I can share my story. I'm grateful that I can inspire guys to, you know what, get out of your head, get out of that, and move forward. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend. I will see you on Monday, and it was an honor to just share a piece of my story. Monday we'll be back again with our faith, our mindset, and for the new month I have a new challenge. And be blessed, and thank you for listening to me, and thank you that I could share my story for you guys. Be blessed, and see you on Monday.